sometimes ask how is it that their techniques work in training, but when they're in a situation outside of training or when they're training under pressure, then the technique doesn't work. Well, here's a couple of suggestions and a couple of ideas that may help. The first thing is to do with how martial arts are generally trained and how self-defense especially is generally trained, in that people learn a technique. And then what happens is, I tell him what to do. You even see people to the extent of do this. Okay, so he does his movement and then I do my movement and I work my technique. That's okay for training in a particular thing, but there's two things that we have to be aware of in that, of course. I know what's coming, and also I know exactly when and where it's coming as well. The second thing is people work slow. Now, slow training is very good. We use it a lot. There's a lot of valuable things you can get out of it. But you have to understand what slow training is for and what it's about. Because we come back to this same problem again, I kind of know what's coming. Now, for me, slow training is not about making it easier at this point, but it's about making it easier at this point. This is where we get into the problem of self-defense. He attacks, I defend. He attacks, I defend. The reality of a situation is that by the time he attacks, at real speed, he's already hit me. So by the time I think of defending, I'm already here. Instead, what you need to be looking at is your timing and positioning. So I'm not going to work from this point, but I'm going to work from this point. Okay? This means your training then becomes, it's less reactive and it's more opportunistic, because every time he makes a movement, it gives me an opportunity to do something. The second thing that happens is people get overwhelmed, not by the movement so much, but by the aggression or the violence or the mindset behind it. And even if Mark's working fast, then, you know, it's kind of okay. Maybe if he's working fast but he's coming at me from here with a lot of aggression and that it's an emotional situation, then all of a sudden I'm on the back foot and I'm out the window. And now again, all of a sudden I'm being reactive and I'm being overwhelmed. So you need to train mindset. Now mindset, a lot of people talk about using an aggressive mindset. It's okay, I'm not saying that never works, I'm not saying there's sometimes not a place for that. But if you train with that as your default setting all the time, two things happen. One, long term, there's possible psychological and physical damage for yourself because you're hyped up all the time. You're pushing your system all the time. You don't learn how to deal with the adrenaline. The second thing is, and I've known people this happen to, someone bumps into you. That's your response. That's your default setting for everything. Okay? So it's not healthy in that sense either. So your mindset training needs to be such that you learn to deal with pressure and aggression and insults and violence and adrenaline and everything else, but in a way that enables you to react in the way we just were, in an optimal state of awareness, an optimal state of everything working, and not just kind of blindly flailing at stuff. When you get into adrenalized state, everything else goes out the window. Your awareness comes down to tunnel vision. You're reduced to real basic movements. Well, movements are basic anyway, but precision and everything else goes out the window. Instead, you're looking at methods of understanding how to respond with your breathing, how to control your emotional state under all types of pressure that allow you to operate in a professional, precise way. So that's the kind of work we're doing. It's the sort of work we do in our regular classes, which you're always welcome to come along to. We're also running a workshop soon. We're going to spend a whole day looking at this stuff, how to deal with real in-your-face aggression and everything else, using these methods that are very simple, they're very effective, they're straightforward, and they've been tested. So you're welcome to come along. The details will be at the end of the